Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening. I must apologize. I'm a little late today. Basically, what can I say? I was feeling a bit drowsy earlier, so I might actually start doing these a little bit earlier in the day. That's possible. Um, and I didn't have a nap, but yeah, I was feeling a bit drowsy and I was off in my own little world. Okay, I was playing computer games. Anyway, I was like, oh, is it that time? I looked, it was 8:30. I was like, okay, I've got a while yet. And anyway, I'm here now. So I do apologize for anyone who was waiting for me. I do apologize. Um, right. Yeah, it's right nippy here at the moment. I think, how much is it? What's the weather like? It's proper cold. I mean, I've got the heating on, but I've also got on a vest, oops, a jumper, my hoodie. I had my hoodie on like this earlier, so I took it off because I didn't think it was a good look for the video, you know. Not that my looks really matter. I think it really matters more that I'm accurate, or at least, and interesting, you know, because there's loads of people who are accurate, but are they interesting? Is it like watching paint dry? You know, not to say that I am the most entertaining tarot reader of all time, because I'm not. But, you know, I do try to make it a bit interesting for you, especially when it comes to subjects like this that are a bit dry. So, I had a reading earlier, and I guess that made me feel a little bit discombobulated as well, and it was quite draining. Um, I do find that doing readings with all the energy that you're using can often be a bit draining. So that's probably why a lot of tarot readers maybe only do maybe 4 or 5 people a day, you know. But hey, oh well, hey ho hum. So today's reading. This is part 2 in my series on the future of British democracy. Um, and frankly, even though it's part 2, after part 1, I can tell you ain't looking great. But I've been wondering what question to ask, because in Britain, traditionally speaking, we've never really had much of an issue with things like voter fraud. It's not really an issue for us. It's never really even been a political issue for us. Normally, when election time comes around, you just a few weeks before, you'll get sent a polling card with your name and your address, etc., etc. on it. And they'll send that to you by post. When you turn up at the polling station, you don't have to submit your polling cards to show who you are or anything like that. It's checked by people at the polling station. They'll ask you, what's your postcode? And you give them your postcode. And then they'll say, what's your name? And you give them your name. And then they'll verify it with your address. And they literally, it's a piece of paper where they have everyone's details on it. And they'll just put a line through your name and address. And then you'll go and vote. Now, what had happened was, I mean, if you look over the last 10, 20 years, we've had maybe um, three situations where people have been prosecuted for voter fraud It's something that's so rare and so not British. It's not a thing. It's not a crime that we've ever really considered before. It's never been an issue. If anything, I'd say it's a non-issue. But lately, in the last few years, the Conservative government, the right wing government, have decided that this is an issue for them. Although it's never been one before. And I would say that they've been looking at America. Oh, hello, darling Brett. Lovely for you to join me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, darling. I really appreciate you joining me tonight. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's never really been an issue for us, but I feel that the Conservatives have been looking at America and they're very good when it comes to gerrymandering. And what gerrymandering is, it's altering the lines between boroughs and wards so that you can grab the votes of people who are more likely to vote for you. So they'll change the county lines, for want of a better term. They'll change the county lines to include more, to maybe exclude, because this is what normally happens when a Conservative or even a Labour government are in power. Sometimes they will change the party lines to exclude voters that are less likely to vote for them so they can hold on to the seat, or more likely to vote for them so they can hold on to the seat. But it's all about holding on to the seat. And the Conservatives are very much, if it was going to be an exam or a test that you could pass with an A plus, the Conservatives would definitely have that. So gerrymandering is a huge thing for the Conservatives. But now they've been watching America and they've decided another way for them to hold on to power is to exclude people from from being able to vote. So now when you want to go and vote, and this will start from next year, May 2023, now when you want to vote, you will have to bring with you voter ID. Well, not voter ID, but you'll have to bring with you photographic ID. As the legislation actually states, you will now, if you are aged, basically, if you're between the ages of 18 and retirement, but you're not yet retired, right? You will have to bring either a passport or a driving license. Now, a passport can cost you, I think, is it £180 to get a passport now? Plus, they're also digital passports, so you have to go to passport control. You have to submit a fingerprint. I don't know if they scan your eye, a retina scan, but it's a biometric ID. Or you can get a driving license. Now, it's about £40 for a provisional license. At the moment, we're going through a cost of living crisis where many people are having to choose between buying food and heating their homes. I went shopping today. About 2 weeks ago, I think it was roughly about 2 weeks ago, I went to Lidl's. I don't know if you have Lidl's in the States, but I know that Lidl's is all over Europe and in the UK. It's the same as Aldi, basically. And I went to Lidl's about 2 weeks ago and I bought a loaf of bread, wholemeal seeded bread. That cost me 99 pence. Oh, sorry. That cost me £1.09. It had gone up previously from about 2 months prior from 99 pence to £1.09. And that was 2 weeks ago. Today, I went to go and buy bread, and now it's gone up to £1.15. So within the space of 2 weeks, the bread's gone up 6 pence. Might not seem a lot. However, if you consider the fact that about a month, 6 weeks ago, the bread was 99 pence, that means it's gone up 16 pence in the space of a month, month and a half. That's a rapid rise. The cost of eggs, last year I was buying eggs, I think they were about £1.90 last year. And that was for 12 free-range large eggs. Earlier on this year, it went up to about £1.99 or £2. Then it went up to £2.09. The last time I bought eggs, which was about 6 weeks ago, it was £2.20. Today, I went to Lidl's, and now for this exactly the same eggs, it's £2.39. They didn't even have any in the shops because apparently there's this bird flu that's going around, and it's killing lots of chickens. So they've had to put a limit on the amount of eggs, packs of eggs you can buy. So food prices are going up by the week. The price of food is literally going up by the week. Now, I've said all that to say how difficult it is for people to find money to buy food, because food prices are just going up and up and up and up. And you can go to the shop 2 weeks from now, God knows what price it's going to be. It might be another 6 pence, let's say. My bread might go, I don't want to put anything on it, Let me not put energy on it. No energy. No energy. No energy. No energy. I am not speaking this into the universe. But I'm just saying that it wouldn't surprise me if by this time in January I see another 10 pence or something like that go on a loaf of bread. And granted, a lot of that does have to do with Ukraine, and Ukraine is a major grain harvester. They make so much, they produce so much grain for the whole world. There's parts of Africa that are being pushed into famine now because they import so much from Ukraine. But, the point I'm making is that the price of food is just going up and up and up. So by the time next year elections in May roll around, how many people will be able to afford to pay £40 to buy a provisional driving license just so they can vote? And this affects the people who are on the lowest incomes the most. People on the lowest incomes also tend to vote for left-wing parties. So in a way, in a roundabout way, because we have a slightly different electoral system than, let's say, the States do, in a way, that's a way of pushing people or eliminating people, huge swathes of people, from being able to vote. Because instead of turning up at the polling station and just giving your details, you will be turned away. you will be turned away from the polling station, and told to go home and get your ID. Many people, once they're told to go home to get their ID, maybe they just finished work or they just picked up the kids from school or something, for them to trek home, even though it's only just around the corner, because it won't be far from where they live. That means that will put off a lot of people from voting. And that if they have the ID that's required. Now, apparently, as this criticism of the new voting bill has been put forward to the government, because it does not apply to pensioners. Pensioners, they don't have to do any of that. Doesn't apply to pensioners. But as a lot of people will be put off by that, it makes it more likely that, as I said, people won't vote. Because they won't be able to come back. It won't be convenient for them, especially people with children, young children. And it affects those who don't have the money. So the criticism has been brought to them, and they have launched a scheme with local councils that people can apply for a voting registration card. And those voting registrations cards are supposed to be handled by the local authority. However, it's up to the local authority how much resources they want to put into the voter registration cards. And at the moment, as I said, we have a cost of living crisis. We also, I don't know if anybody's aware of this in the UK, we also have a major problem with strikes. Everybody, what do I mean? What do I mean when I say strikes? Hey, I got a list. The whole flipping country is on bloody strike. It's crazy. Here's the list. I was going to make up a little song about it because it was ridiculous. This is my phone. Can you see who's on strike? Who's on strike? These are all the people on strike. We have Border Force, airport staff, you know, the people who do the check-in to check your passport, and the security guards. Yeah. Customs, what are those people? Strike. Firemen, coffin makers, rail workers, maritime and transport, NHS, paramedics, nurses, doctors, porters, cleaners, technicians, healthcare workers. We have teachers, primary school, secondary school, all the teachers, lecturers, those who do lectures in colleges and universities, communication workers, engineers, call centre staff, IT technicians, postal workers, sorting office staff. The meteorologists are balloting their members right now to ask them if they want to go on strike. Meteorologists! We're not going to get a weather forecast. I mean, really? I would think that that's quite a high-paying job. You're a scientist. You know, they're on strike. Shop workers, baggage handlers for the airports again, highway workers. You know those guys who are on the highway and they got their hard hat and they got their high vis vest and you can always see the crack of their bum. Yeah, those guys, they're on strike. Driving examiners, you want a driving test, they go out and they're on strike. Local authority workers, so the local council workers, where you go to the council and you say, oh, my council tax or whatever, they're on strike. DWP, the people who, when you turn up, let's say you're unemployed, you haven't got a job, so you go to these people and you say, right, well, I lost my job, blah blah blah, I need to apply for benefits. Some of them are on strike, including I think it's probably with the ones in the call centers. They're probably the ones who are going on strike. The Rural Payments Authority, I think these are the ones who handle payments to farmers, or maybe they handle things like God knows, but they're on strike, and that's from central government. Central government, the Home Office, Sorry, pardon my language. It's after 11 o'clock here. I hope you haven't got kids who are watching. The fucking Home Office, Immigration, Police. What the fuck? Home Office workers, central government are on fucking strike. Everybody, strike. Now, you know what, yeah? If this was a movie, if they were making a movie of this time, and someone decided they're going to submit a screenplay, so there you go, I want to make a movie, like, let's say, it's not exactly apocalyptic, and it's not a zombie apocalypse, it's not like, the whole country becomes underwater, or there's some kind of nuclear dirty bomb. It's nothing like that. But I want to make a film where it's slightly dystopian, set in the UK, where everybody goes on strike, and there's all these things happen, and then, I don't think that movie would get made. If you had said 20 years ago, they would have been like, no, it's all a bit unrealistic. The nurses haven't been on strike for like 130 years, so they would never go on strike. No, the nurses are on strike as well. The doctors, I don't think the doctors have ever been on strike. The paramedics certainly haven't. So, I mean, it is happening in my country. And that is a reason to feel a little bit despondent. But shit, it's funny. It's funny. I think all of this is scaring the crap out of the government. And really, I should probably do a reading on it. Now, you're probably wondering how this ties into voting. A lot of the people who are going on strike are people who probably wouldn't vote for this government. I mean, I find it very interesting when the lawyers, yes, you heard it here, the lawyers, the barristers went on strike earlier this year. Within, was it 6 weeks to 2 months of them going on strike, the government gave them a pay deal? Yeah. Within a few weeks of them going on strike, the government found the money to give them a pay deal. Right now, I think what's happening here is that the whole country is supporting the strikes. because they're seeing that things are getting so bad. How does that tie in? As I said, a lot of these people wouldn't vote Conservative, or if they would, they ain't voting for them no more. So, what question should I be asking tonight? Should I be asking, will the Voting Act, that's the 2022 Elections Act, will that get repealed? That's one question to ask. Or another question I could ask is, how will these strikes affect? Will these strikes have any effect on voting? That's another question I could ask. I'm really not sure. I hope that anyone watching may have an idea. Let's have a look see. Right. I'm going to go with, okay, I've got a question. Will the new Elections Act 2022, will that work out well for the Conservatives? Will they achieve all their hopes and dreams? Hopefully not the ones where they're putting asylum seekers on planes and sending them off to Rwanda. But will that help them achieve their dream, their goal of authoritarian supremacy? Will that help them? Will it help them? Period. Will it actually help them? So I'm not sure about doing energy. Well, no, actually, I think this might be a reading where I could actually use the energy cards. Okay, let's do this. I've spoken for long enough. Oh, gosh. Or will it massively backfire with all these people who try to vote and then find out that they can't? And all the people who witness clear election tampering, a clear case of tampering with the election. Because we have a thing here where the electoral register is tied to your home and your council tax. So when you pay for your local tax that runs your local services, you automatically are put on the electoral roll. It doesn't matter if you committed a crime in the past, because prisoners don't have the right to vote. But once you leave prison, it makes no difference. Once you leave prison and you're living in the community, in the world, you have the right to vote. Yeah, you just do. Everyone has the right to vote. So there's no way of really knocking people off the electoral register in this country. That's considered highly undemocratic. So let's have a look see. Oh, good evening, Paula. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry I was running a little late earlier, but I'm so glad that you could join me tonight. So let's have a look see. So there's that one. I just shuffled that. I'm going to shuffle these because let's see what it has to say. Okay, right. Will it work? Will this whole election tampering situation work going forward? Okay, and that's that. Right, and because we're talking about, you know, such lovely, compassionate, benevolent organizations, set of peoples, we're going to use the Game of Thrones tarot. So, will it work? Will it work? Will it work? Okay. Will the Tories' efforts to change people's access to voting, will it work in their favor? Will it help them win elections? Okay, that card really wants to pop out, so I'm going to let it. Okay, just put that there. Mother, Father, God in heaven, and Jesus Christ, your divine emanation, ancestors, spirit guides, and angels, please assist me with my reading tonight. Please show me what you would like for me to reveal. Please give me guidance and tell me what you would like for me to say. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen, amen, amen. Right, okay. So first up, we are going to look at the energy. What is the energy? What is the energy? What is the energy? And as usual, I will pull 3 cards. Okay, I'm going to go with, you know what? I'm going to go with that one. And I'm going to go with that one. And I'm going to go with, no, it's down here. It's this one, I think. Yeah, that one there. Right, as usual, I am using the Caroline Myss archetype cards. You can use these cards in a number of different ways. You can use them as final outcomes. You can use them the way I do for energy. They were actually created to help with a therapist. So, like, let's say you have counseling and you need therapy and blah, blah, blah. People would pick cards for the therapist. So that's what they were created for. This deck always cracks me up. I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe it's because I'm kind of psychologically inclined towards healing. Like if you get a reading from me, do not be surprised if I'm trying to give you advice. Oh yes, I shuffled these ones already. Do not be surprised if I'm trying to give you advice. If I see in the cards that I need to give you advice, you're going to get some advice. Okay, if I need to tell you you need to eat more vegetables and take your vitamins and stop drinking so much, yeah, I'm going to tell you all of that if I see it in the cards. And yes, I actually do have some qualifications in nutrition. Anywho, right, okay, corresponding cards, please. I think that one is a corresponding card. Corresponding cards for the energy. Yes, I'm going to pick that one. And lastly, I'm going to pick this one here. Okay, so those are the corresponding cards for the energy. This one wants to come out as well. It's just like, pick me. And I was like, okay. So, right, okay. And right, let's start off here. Oh, I better pick my cards. Yes, this one came out first. That one really wanted to come out. Sometimes I pick from the top. Sometimes I will pick from the middle. Okay, that's another one from the middle. All right, let's see. How many cards should I pick tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, one more, 7. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, too late now. Right. Okay. Let's do this. I try and not keep you too long tonight. Ooh. This has come out again. Oh, I had a reading earlier where this card came up. Yeah. But obviously the context was slightly different. It says here, I don't know if you can see that. Oops, here we go. Now, the light attribute of this card is benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. That does not apply in this case. In this case, it's the shadow attribute, despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. That's precisely what they're doing. Right. Is that the card I was supposed to pick up? I don't know, man. I think it might have been that one. Doesn't matter which order it comes in anyway. Right. The second card I have is Midas and Miser. Please take note, I was talking about the strikes and that the government do not want to pay public sector workers. The light attributes, entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold. Delight in sharing life's riches. Oh, did I say hello, Paula? I really hope I did. I think I did. Anyway, lovely to see you. Right. Oh, yes. Shadow attributes. Hoarding money and emotions. Obsessive fear of losing your wealth. That does sound a lot like the Conservatives, doesn't it? Obsessive fear of losing their wealth. And the other one is using power to control people. I'm beginning to see a theme. And actually, it's not really that hard to see the theme because the third one is Goddess. This is why I love this deck. This deck is always just like... Anyway, right. The light attribute. Feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. The shadow attribute here is exploitation of the female nature and form. I've got a feeling this is talking about the nurses. I have a feeling this might be about the nurses. In fact, okay, I've got it now. This one is about the government, God, using despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. That's the Conservative Party. This one is about the companies that they sold rights to run the public services that they haven't spent on paying the workers. Hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing wealth. So instead of all their government bonuses and extra funds that they were given to run the public services, they've hoarded that money and they don't want to spend it on paying the workers. This last card here, Goddess, I feel that this one is engineered towards the NHS workers. So that will be your doctors, your paramedics, your nurses, your healthcare workers, your technicians. Yeah, because yes, there are a lot of women who work in the postal service, Yes, there are a lot of women who work in the rail workers, because when I talk about rail workers, I'm not talking about people who drive the trains. I'm talking about the other staff attached. They're a different union and they're not on strike. But the other staff attached are the cleaners, are the people who work in the ticket offices, are the guards on the train, are the people who work in the station. They are the people who work on the trains, giving in the food carriages, right? So those people, a lot of those people are women, and they are paid below wages earners. But for this one, I would say that because it's an archetype card, this is to do with caring and nurturing. So I would say this definitely affects the NHS workers more. And I would say this actually affects teachers. So, corresponding cards. Corresponding cards. Okay. I would say corresponding cards. First one, this is the one that comes under despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. It says, get the ugly cry on. Let that shit go. Your soul will thank you. Maybe it's saying that they need to let their ugly go. The Midas one. Where is your sense of humor? They keep on complaining, especially the rail bosses, that they're losing £1 million a day, but somehow they manage to pay hundreds of millions to their shareholders last year. So if they're losing £1 million a day, how are they able to pay their shareholders hundreds of millions of pounds last year? Because they were saying they were losing £1 million a day last year as well. Doesn't make sense. Somebody's lying. Okay. Maybe this is the other way around. Maybe I picked up the cards and I put them the other way around. It says here, you need to get laid. I don't know. Control freaks need to go get them some. Maybe I got the cards mixed up. But I got an extra card in this deck. I got an extra card that came out, which I think is really probably the overarching card. Shit could be so much worse. I have no idea what that means. Right. So, okay. First up for the tarot, my Rishi Sunak card. There's Rishi doing his thing. Control, control, control. Ooh. Second card up, the Chariot. So there is control that's being crossed by speed. I think when I look at this card, is it the people? First time I looked at this card, I was thinking, are the people fighting against the dragon or are they championing it? Now I know from Game of Thrones that no, they would be championing the power. But this is a people and power card. Maybe I should suspend my logical brain. Oh. This is about an ending. All those parties at number 10, the celebration, that is in the past. Crowning the reading, I have the 10 of coins, the happy family, the legacy. I'm not reading this as a legacy or a happy family for that matter. It's definitely a feast, but there's nobody there. It's a feast. Wine, grapes, cheese. Looks lovely, but there's nobody there. There is fighting, but the battle is not a real one. There's people pushing each other around, acting like they're going to do something, and they're doing fuck all. Sorry. And for some reason, I felt the urge to pull a page of coins. To be perfectly frank with you, this is supposed to be about voting. I don't think this is about voting. This reading is supposed to be about voting, but it's not about voting. It's about the strikes. See, this is why I get too carried away and then everything goes left. Although in this case, it was probably supposed to go left. All right, cool. Well, you know what? I'm just going to take it as it is. I am not going to do anything else. I could put other cards. I'm not going to put other cards. Not for this reading. Because this reading is about the strikes. So I want space to pull the cards for voting. You know me, I chat a lot. Oof. Right. I'm going to double check some things. Because we've got 1, 2, 3. 3 of the 7 cards are major arcana. That's significant. All right. Okay, so let me have a look. I want to double check something because I'm like that particular. If I do a reading for you, you can be assured that I will double check. So we have here, I'm going to just do the whole thing. I might as well. I'm already here. Okay. Order, control, and power. Order, control, and power. Crossed by, and I do not think that this is in a positive aspects. Yes, that's the thing I was getting from this card. This card signifies he's trying to maintain order, control, and power, but it's out of control. Way out of control. Yeah, I'm imbalance, unfairness. Yeah, wrong use of energy. That's what this is. The wrong use of energy and everything's out of control. The death card. I don't know if I really need to do much reading on the death card. This tells me that some situation is coming to an end. And even though it was supposed to be on voting, strikes. Spirit didn't want to talk about voting right now. It wants me to go straight to the strikes. So there's an ending here. There's an ending here. An ending of what? I don't need to look in the book for this one. An ending because the party is over. All those lockdown parties they had. Yeah. That was like the first blare of the trumpet. The party is over. So there's that one. Okay. Now I have here 10 of coins. The 10 of coins. Yes. Now, the 10 of coins is normally about material abundance. It's about legacy. It's about the family. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely card. Lovely card. Usually, in this particular looking though, I'm going to read this card as financial loss, quarrels, money difficulties, unstable finances, domestic problems. Yes, money will be tight for a while. So what have I got? I have the desire for control and power, crossed by everything being out of control, crossed by the fact that this is heralding an ending to the myth that they are fiscally responsible. Although, let's be honest, as soon as Liz Truss got in, it was quite clear that they were fiscally irresponsible. The end of the party. Now, it could mean the end of the party as in the Conservative Party, or the end of the party where they're just chilling and drinking and laughing and don't really give a crap about anything. But anyway, regardless, the party's over. It's no longer fun being an MP. That's why a lot of them will not be standing in the next general election, because they're like, I need to make sure that I'm employable after all of this. They don't want to stand. The party's over, but I look at this card and I see that here the party's over in the past. But this is the one that's crowning the reading. The party either hasn't even begun, or people have just decided they're not going to the party anymore, or the party's over and everyone's gone home. But none of the food and drink has been touched. The family's deserted. I'm looking at this card and I'm seeing, yes, there's a financial burden here, but I'm looking at this card and considering the last card for the past was the party's over. This card is showing me that, you know, I don't know, it's the festive season or there's supposed to be some event and nobody turns up. Nobody turns up to the party. Nobody wants to be there. The party's over. Nobody's interested in having fun. There's no fun to be had. It's all out of control and it's just empty. All the food and wine is waiting there, but people just aren't interested anymore. It's done. And then the death card is right at the bottom. It's done. The infighting and the mock battles, it's just for show. If this is about the strikes, and I suspect it is, because that's what's coming through in these cards, they're just going through the motions of trying to put up some sort of fight against the unions. I've heard people say that they're shit scared, that the government are actually shitting themselves. Yes, I'm sorry. I do apologize for the poor language. But I'm British. We swear a lot. Anyway, yes, I've heard the people say, I think it was the general secretary for the not the postal workers, for the lecturers, yes, the UCU, yes, the University and Colleges Union. So she was representing the lecturers. I've heard her. She said that their government are crapping themselves. They're quite scared because there's so many public sector workers that are coming out on strike. You've seen the list. I haven't counted, but there's got to be at least 30 different professions on that list. In fact, if we're going to go by professions, there's more than 30 on that list. So they're going through the motions and acting as if they're fighting this. And they know that they need to fight it because if they try to either break things up or they give one set of unions what they want, they'll have to give in to all of them. The trouble is, you can turn around and say that one union, when they're asking for this money and they're asking for this pay rise, that they're being greedy. You can make that argument, whether it's true or false, you can make that argument. But when you have all these public sector workers in all these different, disparate professions. I mean, the coffin makers. I didn't even know the coffin makers had a union. How the hell? The coffin makers are on strike. How does that shit work? So they're going through the motions of saying, oh, you know, the last card I have here as an outcome card, and I'm going to read it as an outcome card, is that a pay offer will be made. It will not be as much as they want, but pay offers will be made. Now, they tried to make a pay offer to the male workers, and that pay offer was declined because they tried to add, and this was the government, not the companies, the rail companies, the government scuppered the talks. And they did so because they feel that it works in their favor to allow the rail union to go ahead with the strikes because they feel that it works in their favor, but it doesn't. They added on all these conditions that no one, no matter which way you leant, whether you leant to the left or you leant to the right, no one looking at those extra conditions that they added on to the offer would say, yeah, go ahead, take the offer, because they offered them 5%. Inflation's currently at 11%, and they would have taken the offer except for the fact that they also said that the company was able to sack as many people as they wanted. And they were allowed to bring in agency staff for less wage, all kinds of rubbish that they put in there, and it was deliberate. But I think with everyone going on strike and bringing the country to a halt in so many sectors, the government are facing such a barrage of strikes, so much opposition, even in the Home Office, even in central government. These are civil servants that are going on strike as well. It's not sustainable for them. So they're going to have to make an offer. I don't know if I really want to continue, blah, blah, blah. There'll be a period of suspension. Okay, somebody's going to come forward with a creative idea and there will be illumination at the end of it. Okay, so that's the strikes. That's the strikes. I was looking into voting, but I ended up reading on the strikes. Who knew? Okay, so that's that one. Boom. I'm doing a 2 for the price of 1. Okay, let's see. Or maybe I should just leave it there and just change this one to, you know what? Let me just try and knock this out super quick. I'll try and knock it out super quick. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Right. Well, all right, Spirit. We've looked at the strikes like you wanted to. You wanted to look at the strikes. I think that's why you wanted me to sing LMFAO. I had a whole thing. I was going to do the whole lyrics. But, you know, anyway, I don't need to do that now. Right. So, okay, let's have a quick look and see. Will it work in the government's favour? The changes to voting elections bill, the Elections Act 2022. Will it work in the government's favour? Or will it blow up in their faces? Oops, is there any other cards down here? I really hope not. I can't see a damn thing. Right, let's have a look. Right, will it work in the government's favour? Will the Elections Act 2022 work in the government's favour? Right, so I'm going to go with that one there, and that one there, and that one there. I might as well. That one there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one will be my. Right, here we go. Right. Okay. Oh, Queen of Swords. All right. This is mentally. Right. That's crossed by independence and wealth. The Hierophant. Okay. Confusion. Right. All right. An offer that nobody wants. Right. King of Swords. Right. Let's have a look. See. I'm just gonna. Oh no. No, this. Whoa, crumbs. Short answer, no. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. The short answer, it's definitely not gonna work. It's gonna backfire. It's going to backfire big time. It's gonna blow up in their faces. Okay. Please don't think that I'm sounding gleeful. Am I sounding gleeful? Do I feel gleeful? Actually, not particularly. I don't think I sound gleeful as such. I think it's more to do with me like, oh, so you want to try and do a team? What you did, the team that you tried to do, you were looking at it saying, oh, it's a small team. But we both know it was a big team. And the team hasn't worked. That's more where it's coming from. It's not so much me being gleeful and gloating. It's like, you tried to do all of this and it's all blown up in your face. Dude, you would have been better off if you just left things alone. Why did you do that? That's what this whole thing is. Why? What's the point? It's really not working for you. That's what this is. Why do I say all of that? Okay. I say all of that because I don't know who this came from. I don't know if it came from Liz. I don't know if it came from Pretty or Not So Pretty Patel. I don't know if it came from, I doubt it came from Suella. It didn't come from Suella. But it probably did come from the ERG, that part of the party, which I think is fairly represented as Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is my ERG card. Yeah. And they have a tendency, the people from that side of the party have a tendency to misuse speech and intellect. They're not particularly that bothered about the law. They are peddlers in misinformation, intolerance, bigotry. That's what they are peddlers in. Unscrupulousness, pettiness. Do I need to continue? Yeah, a real bitch. That's the ERG. That's the energy the cards are showing me of who they are, right? Okay. That's crossed by the nine of coins, okay? Nine of coins upright is the independent woman. It's the independent person, a person seeking independence and self-reliance. In this way, I would say personally that this is the bigotry and nastiness of the Queen of Swords, tempered, although I'm not even sure if I really want to use that term, tempered by the dependency. The idea of being independent and self-reliant is something that they like to sell to people. The fact is, we live in a modern world. We are dependent. And if we're going to isolate ourselves, then we run the risk of dependence, of loss, deprivation, and suffering the consequences of poor choices. So it's the nastiness of the ERG and the bigotry and all that, you know, those decisions. Oh yeah, it would be a really good idea. It's misusing the intellect, a misuse of the intellect. Okay, so misuse of the intellect will lead to suffering the consequences of their poor choices. Underneath that, I have the government, the Hierophant, the government. After all, this is about elections and voting. Okay, now you have the misuse of language, misinformation, bigotry, narrow-mindedness, all that nastiness, and they are in charge of the government. But so they've come up with these ideas because they feel that they have the power to do them, and they did have the power to do them, and they did them. The confusion and the delusion. The delusion. I do not use that term lightly. Illusion is, you know, it's not really there, but and that is an element there. But this is delusion. Delusion is when you are trying to tell yourself something you know isn't true, or you don't have the facility, you're not capable of looking at reality and drawing logical conclusions from reality. It's more comfortable for you to tell yourself that the sky isn't generally blue, although let's be honest, I think today it was grey, but never mind, clouds. But it's more, rather than saying, oh yes, the sky's blue, they'll say the sky is green. I have to say, I've seen sunsets, I've seen the morning, I've seen the afternoon. I've been on this planet for over 40 years. I don't think I've ever seen a green sky. But that's what they're trying to tell people. There's the delusion that they can do something like this and it's not going to affect their voters. The offer that's not wanted. Okay, basically, they're trying to sell us a story to say, oh, we're really worried about election fraud and we really don't want people misrepresenting themselves when they go to the polling station. So this is what we need to do to make sure that doesn't happen. But that's not an issue in this country. That's the offer they're making. They're trying to sell us a story and say, oh, no, this is perfectly fine. And oh, no, it's got nothing to do with us trying to hold on to power. And oh, no, it's got nothing to do with us trying to dissuade voters who are financially disenfranchised from voting. It's got nothing to do with any of that. We just like everything to be right and proper and above board. That's a lie. And people are not buying it. The immediate future, King of Swords. Well, if the Queen of Swords is a real bitch, the King of Swords has got to be a bully, I would say, personally. But let me just double check because I'm funny like that. All right, King of Swords. Yes, I said it before and I'll say it again. This is about premeditated malice. They had made up their mind that this is what they wanted to do because they thought that intellectually it would work in their favor. It won't. Ruthlessness, deviousness, scheming, poor judgment. I have here in the mines, something to be revealed, the High Priestess. A lot has already been revealed. A lot has already been revealed. People have been discussing this new Elections Act this year. They've been discussing it since last year, actually. And they had to make some concessions in regards to elderly voters because most of their voters are elderly. So if you're elderly, all you need to do is bring a bus pass. We have this thing called a freedom pass that people who are disabled or pensioners get, right? Apparently, those who are disabled cannot use the same photo ID that the pensioners can use. Makes no sense. But so it has been discussed. However, once election time comes, there's going to be so many people who are going to be turned away from the polling station. People are going to get really, really angry. They're going to see this for what it is. That includes Tory voters. There is long a tradition in this country, a libertarian tradition, most often expressed by the right wing. We are not an ID carrying country. We are not an ID carrying country. The argument that right wingers, the Conservative MPs themselves, will stand up in the House of Commons and say, this is not Nazi Germany. Only in Nazi Germany do people have to walk around with ID. People have, show me your papers. This is not that kind of country. This is going to upset a lot of Conservative voters who, if they weren't already annoyed and upset with them, this is going to get to the point where I wouldn't say it's necessarily going to be the last straw, because all the people who are going to die this winter, that might actually end up being the last straw, but this will compound the issue. It's going to be discussed more and more in the House of Commons. It's going to be discussed more and more on social media. And there's going to be some kind of revelation as to why they really decided to do this. Not to say it hasn't already happened, but it's going to become more, I don't know. I think it's quite possible that there might be a slip up in one of the select committees. It's going to be revealed that it's pure malice in one of the select committees. Just like it was revealed that there are no legal routes to come into this country, even though the Home Secretary has been calling all asylum seekers illegal migrants. But there are no legal routes. And that was blown up and shown up to be a lie. As I said, they like to peddle misinformation. The environment is one of juggling. I don't know if they're trying to juggle the truth with the lies. They're going to pay for this. They're going to pay for this. They're going to pay for this one's ups and downs. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to become overwhelmingly, what's the word? Overwhelmingly costly. Overwhelmingly costly. Hopes and fears. Betrayal. Betrayal. Tory voters, especially older ones that have libertarian leanings, ones that are adamant that this is not an ID carrying country, are going to turn on them. That's the fear. But I feel, given what I'm seeing in these cards, that shit's going to happen. Five of Coins. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. They're going to lose bigly. The May local elections, they're going to lose bigly. A lot of people are going to turn up to vote and realize, and this is in their safe seats. Their safe seats. A lot of people are going to turn up to vote and realize that they can't vote. They're going to turn up to vote, realize they can't vote. Now, in the local elections, the percentage of voters is anywhere between 40 and 50%. Let me check. I'm going to check the pendulum. Okay. Okay. What will be the percentage? Can you please show me yes? Thank you so much. Please stop. Please show me no. Lovely. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate you. Now, what will be the percentage of voters in the local elections, May 2023 local elections? Those are the questions I want to ask you. Now, will it be at 40%? Will the vote share be 40%? No. Okay, stop. Right, stop. Will the vote share be less than 40%? Okay, that's a no. All right. Will the ability of people to vote in the May local elections be hampered by the new Elections Act? Okay, that's a yes. Oh, yes, that's a big yes. Okay, stop. Will the Conservative voters react negatively to the new Elections Act as they try to cast their votes? That's a yes. Yes, they will react negatively. Okay, stop. Will this affect the success of the Tory seats held? Will this affect the success of the Conservative Party in the local election? I'm getting a slight yes. Oh, I'm getting a slightly bigger yes. All right then. Do you not feel like reading for me today? Are you upset with me? No. Do you need me to recharge you? Ah, yeah. Okay, I'll recharge you. Apparently my pendulum wants me to recharge it. So, but I can always use this one. Can I use this one? Yeah, let me try this one. This one might be a little bit better. Excuse me. I might be able to get a more definitive answer out of this one. Let me try it. Oh, excuse me. You know what? Let me just undo it instead. All right, let me try and just undo this instead. Just going to ask the pendulum. Now, I'd normally, like if I'm doing a reading for you, I would normally use that blue pendulum that I have there, although it's more of a, I don't know, thingamajig. Or I would use, if I was doing a love reading, I actually have a purpose built pendulum for that one. But when it comes to things like about other things generally, all right, then let me try this one. All right, then. Okay. Please show me yes. Can you show me anything? All right, you're just spinning around today, aren't you? Yeah, they're very uncooperative. I don't know what's going on with them. All right, behave yourself. All right, all right, just cool, just cool, just cool. Okay, let's try that. Please show me yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. You can stop now. Okay, stop. That's it, stop. All right, please show me no. Okay, okay, thank you very much. Stop. All right, let me hold you like this. Oh, all right, I'm going to hold you with this one because anyway, right then. Right. Will the share of voters go down in May's local elections? Okay, that's a no. Okay. All right then. Are Tory voters going to be upset about the rules, the new rules? That's a yes. Yes, they're going to be. They're going to be very, very upset. Will this affect Tory voters? All right, you can stop. I get the message. They're going to be pissed. All right, stop, stop, stop. Okay. Will this affect the number of Tory voters who decide to vote Tory in May's general election? Yes, yes, it will. Okay. All right. Stop. All right. You can stop. You can stop. You can stop. Thank you. All right. Will this affect the new Elections Bill Act? Will it blow up in their faces to the point that it will affect the general election? Yeah, it's going to affect the general election. It will definitely affect the general election. Yep, it will blow up in their faces. The other pendulum was showing me, but it wasn't swinging very much, and it wasn't very easy for you to see. But yeah, this is going to blow up in their faces. There's going to be a lot of people who are traditional Tories who maybe they can't bring themselves to vote for Labour or another party that will stay at home. This will, yes, so a lot of them will stay at home, and some of them will decide to vote for another party. But yes, this is going to backfire big time. It's going to be awful. So I've gotten through 2 readings, and there were big ones as well. Can't believe I actually did the strikes today. Crumbs. Right, so let's see. Let's see. Have you got any comments in the chat? Anything you want to say or you want to ask me about? Okay, I'm going to take that as a no. All right. Well, in that case, I want to say to everybody, thank you for joining me tonight. Please like, please share, please subscribe. I also do personal readings. Oh, thank you so much, Paula. I'm glad that I'm able to provide some insight into yeah, something different, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I also do personal readings. I must admit, I probably shouldn't say this, but if I do a personal reading for you, you might pay for 30 minutes, but you might end up actually getting 40 anyway, because I'm long, as you can see, and I like to be thorough. Also, as I said, I am not above giving people advice on things like nutrition and stuff like that, and mental health. Yes, so I do that. And if you do want a personal reading for me, you can find me at showintheends@gmail.com. What else? Yes, I'm also doing I'm doing my usual Monday broadcast. I'll do my usual Monday broadcast. This Monday, I've decided to look in at another country instead of focusing solely on Britain. Although there's so much going on that I ended up having to do a 2-for-1, frankly. Let's see. Let me see. I'm going to edit that. Right. Voting. Oops. I'm just going to edit that while we're here. And strikes. Oops. No, that's not the thing. Yes. So, yeah. Right. Oh, bollocks. I've messed up. Never mind. Right. Yeah. So, what else was I going to say? I don't know. Good evening, good night, good morning, and good afternoon to everyone who's watching me do my thing. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back on Monday. On Monday, I'm looking at Cyril Ramaphosa, the South African president. Apparently, he maybe owns the most expensive sofa in the history of humanity, where it was either hiding 500,000 US dollars or 5 million, which is a pretty large figure. Why he had 500,000 or 5 million US dollars in a sofa instead of in a bank at his house, God himself only knows. He says it was there because he had sold some cattle to an Arab merchant from his farm. But 5 million US dollars in cattle, that's a lot of cows. That's a whole load of cows. But yeah, someone apparently went to his farmhouse, because he's got a house on a farm, because he owns some farms, and they nicked his sofa. And I have to say, considering it might have cost, I don't know, 200 US dollars to rent a van, and maybe another 100 US dollars to, like, I don't know, get some people to move the furniture, that's a pretty good haul for a couple of hours work. Although if it was 5 million, they might have needed something on wheels. Oh gosh. Oh, Brett. Yeah, the British Revolution. It does. It looks very revolutionary. We had a massive march, protest outside in Parliament Square today, where you had, how many thousands was it? I don't know, but it was thousands of union workers came out today in the freezing, freezing cold. When I say it's cold, I mean it's cold, cold. It's like it's like 0 degrees outside, 0 degrees centigrade, which I think is probably about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, they were all out in Parliament Square today. And we had unions from, as I said, from healthcare, from communication workers, postal workers, rail workers, everyone. I don't know if the coffee makers turned up, but I know the lecturers were there. Yeah, so the lawyers aren't there because they got paid. But yeah, there were workers from practically every union there today, and it was thousands. It was thousands. I don't know, did they say 5,000? I don't know how many thousands, but it was thousands. So yes, it does look like there's a revolution coming, and frankly, if this revolution is about making our country and the economy work for ordinary people, for the people who actually work and run the country and make things happen, who deliver vital public services, then frankly, I can't wait for it to come soon enough, because there's so much suffering that's happening right now. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm proud of them too. I'm proud of them too. All right, I'm going, and have a good evening, and I hope to see you again on Monday evening at a slightly earlier time of 10:30 GMT, where I'll be looking at Cyril from South Africa. I'll be asking the question, they've already launched an inquiry. Are they going to launch an investigation? That's the question I'm asking. So good night. Bye-bye.